In 1883, workers dangled on ropes above a New Zealand river gorge and drilled a road into raw cliff by hand. They had no safety gear, no helmets, no plan beyond blasting rock until a ledge existed wide enough for a horse cart. They were chasing gold, and the mountain charged them in lives for every meter of progress. That road still exists, drivers still use it, and the canyon still collects mistakes the same way it did when the first workers fell. More than a century later, the places on this list carry the same lesson those miners learned the hard way. The danger was here before us. It will be here after us. And right now, across every continent, people are walking, driving, and climbing through it because they have no other choice, or because they need to know if they can. Skipper's Canyon Road, New Zealand. The road is 16.5 kilometers long. Most of it is barely 3 to 4 meters wide. There are no guardrails. Rental car companies in Queenstown void your insurance the moment your tires touch the gravel entrance. That policy exists because this road was never built for cars. It was carved between 1883 and 1890 for miners heading to the gold fields above the Shotover River. At Pincher's Bluff, workers blasted a shelf 183 meters above the water while hanging from ropes. The ledge they created is the road you drive today. The first thing you notice is the sound. Gravel pops and shifts under the tires like something alive. The canyon wall presses close on one side. On the other, the drop opens so suddenly, your stomach falls before your eyes register the distance. Corners carry names earned over generations. Devil's Elbow, Hell's Gate. Each name is a warning dressed as geography. Tour operators still run this road daily. Rafters use it to reach the Shotover. Mountain bikers ride it for the thrill. Locals treat it like a commute. But local knowledge does not cancel physics. If a driver misjudges a single bend, there is no shoulder to catch the mistake, no barrier to absorb the slide. The vehicle goes from gravel to open air, then 183 meters of nothing, then river, then silence. And this road has pavement in places, has been driven for over a century, has a reputation people respect. The next place has none of that. It has trees so dense that GPS units lose signal, and people who enter sometimes choose not to come back. If you have ever driven a road where turning around felt harder than going forward, tell me where it was in the comments. Aokigahara Forest, Japan. Aokigahara sits at the northwest base of Mount Fuji. It covers roughly 35 square kilometers of hardened lava flow, and the volcanic rock beneath the soil absorbs sound so completely that deep inside the forest, you hear almost nothing. No wind, no birds, no echo. The Japanese government stopped publishing annual death statistics for the forest to reduce its notoriety. But reports have documented dozens of bodies recovered in single sweeps. Authorities conduct regular patrols, specifically to intervene before it is too late. From the parking lot, the forest looks inviting. Moss covers everything in thick green. Light filters through the canopy in soft columns. The trails are well marked and easy. Then the trails end. Past the ropes and signs, the forest floor becomes a maze of roots, holes, and volcanic rock hidden under decades of fallen leaves. compass needles reportedly behave erratically near the iron-rich lava deposits. Hikers have become disoriented within minutes of stepping off marked paths. The human story is layered with centuries of cultural weight. Japanese folklore has long associated dense forests with spirits. Aokigahara became linked to death in literature and media, which created a cycle that authorities have struggled to break. Volunteers walk the forest regularly, leaving messages of hope tied to trees. Rangers patrol, looking for people who are still deciding. If you go alone and leave the trail, the forest swallows direction itself. The trees look identical in every direction. The ground gives no useful landmarks. Cell phone signals weaken. GPS drifts. A wrong turn does not just cost time, it costs certainty. And in a place this quiet, certainty is the first thing your mind needs to stay calm. The next entry trades silence for noise. Engines, horns, and the sound of overloaded trucks grinding up a road that has been crumbling for decades. If the silence of Aokigahara unsettles you more than the cliff edge of Skipper's Canyon, you already understand that danger does not need height to be real. Subscribe to Explore Danger for places that prove it. Bolivar Road, Venezuela. Most American drivers have never seen a road where the pavement simply stops existing for miles, then reappears, then vanishes again, all on an active national highway carrying commercial freight. That is Bolivar Road. Officially part of the Transandina Highway System, it connects remote mountain communities in the Venezuelan Andes across terrain that shifts between cracked asphalt, raw mud, and exposed rock, depending on the season and the year's maintenance budget, which is often close to zero. The road climbs through passes above 4,000 meters. Fog rolls in without warning and reduces visibility to a few car lengths. In the wet season, landslides bury entire sections overnight. Drivers sometimes wait days for a route to reopen, sleeping in their trucks on a mountain shelf with no communication and no services. The road has no consistent width. In places, it narrows to a single lane cut into steep hillside with drops of several hundred meters and no barrier of any kind. Local truckers and bus drivers use this road because it is the only connection between their communities and the rest of the country. Farmers move produce on it. Families ride buses on it. When the road fails, the communities it serves go quiet. No supplies, no medicine, no way out. When a truck loses brakes on a steep descent in fog, or a landslide catches a bus mid-crossing, there is no emergency infrastructure waiting. Recovery depends on other drivers, hand tools, and time. The wreckage sometimes stays where it fell because no crane can reach it. This is not a road that was forgotten. It is a road that an entire economy depends on, and it is disintegrating while people still drive it. But a road, even a collapsing one, still has a surface. The next place removes the ground entirely and replaces it with boiling earth, acid pools, and air that can poison your lungs. Danakil Depression, Ethiopia. The ground bubbles. That is not a metaphor. In the Danakil Depression, molten material sits close enough to the surface that the earth moves, hisses, and vents toxic gas in real time. NASA describes this as a landscape of blue burning sulfur vents, bright yellow hot springs, and lakes of bubbling mud. Parts of the depression lie more than 100 meters below sea level. Lake Karam alone sits 116 meters below it. Temperatures in nearby areas have been recorded above 50 degrees Celsius, that is 122 Fahrenheit in open shade. The visual is alien. Sulfur stains the land in bright yellows and greens. Salt crust cracks under your boots with each step. Heat rises from the ground in waves that warp your sense of distance, making the horizon shimmer and lie. Then the smell arrives. Sulfur, hot minerals, cooked earth, and it does not leave. Your skin bakes from above while reflected heat cooks you from below. The Afar people have survived here for at least 2,000 years. They mine salt that was once used as currency across Ethiopia. Caravans of camels still cross the depression because the salt still holds value. Some scientists travel here because the Danakil is a model in the various. They put it in the sense that campus. The Afar people have survived here for at least 2,000 years. They mine salt that was once used as cross the depression because the salt still holds value. Cyanids travel here because the Danakil is a model in the various. They put it in the sense that campus. Scientists travel here because the Danakil is model in the various. They put it in the sense that campus. Cyanids travel here because the Danakil is model in the various. They put it in the sense that campus. The Afar people have survived here for at least 2,000 years. They put it in the sense that campus. Cyanids travel here because the Danakil is model in the various. They put it in the sense that campus. Cyanids travel here because the Danakil is model in the various. They put it in the sense that campus. Cyanids travel here because the Danakil is model in the various. They put it in the sense that campus. The Afar people have survived here for at least still holds value. Cyanids travel here because the Danakil is model in the various. They put it in the sense that campus. Componing the center disconti that verses completely on the year. 3 tectonic plates pulling apart beneath your feet. The danger is not dramatic. It is constant. Heat exposure, toxic gas, unstable crust, dehydration, and total isolation work in combination. A wrong step can drop you into scalding mud or an acid pool. A broken vehicle can strand you in a furnace with no shade, no water source, and no rescue for hours. The earth here is not stable ground. It is a thin shell over something that wants to swallow you. 1 hour in Danakil heat or 1 hour on Yungas Road traffic? Which would you survive? Tell me in the comments. The next place also demands you trust what is under your feet. But instead of boiling earth, it is a wooden board 1 foot wide, bolted to a cliff 300 meters above nothing. Mount Huashan Plank Walk, China. The Plank Walk stretches more than 100 meters along the east face of South Peak. At its most exposed point, it is 0.3 meters wide. That is roughly 1 foot. Below the boards, the drop falls at least 300 meters straight down to rock and forest. There is no net. The only thing between you and the void is a steel chain bolted into the cliff and whatever strength remains in your grip. You do not walk this path normally. You press your chest against cold rock, slide 1 foot sideways along the board, then the other. Both hands grip the chain. Your pack scrapes the cliff wall. The wind pushes at your back. You hear the creak of old wood and the rattle of chain links. And you try not to look down, because looking down activates every alarm your body owns. The return doubles the fear, because this is not a through route. You must come back the same way, facing the same exposure, with arms that are now shaking. A Taoist priest first carved this route more than 700 years ago as a spiritual trial. Today, it is a tourist attraction. Visitors clip into a safety harness and cable system, and staff shut the walk when lightning, snow, or heavy wind arrive. But some falls have occurred when people unclipped gear to pass others, or panicked during crowded moments. The mountain does not forgive hesitation. When this place fails, it fails in seconds. A loose grip, one panicked step sideways, crowd pressure from behind pushing you off rhythm, and gravity finishes the conversation. You are not hiking a trail. You are negotiating with pure vertical exposure. And the negotiation has no second chance. Could you actually slide across a 1-foot board with nothing below you but 300 meters of air? Put yes or no in the comments, and be honest with yourself. Snake Island, Brazil. Ilha de Queimada Grande sits about 33 kilometers off the coast of São Paulo state. The Brazilian Navy has banned civilian visits. The reason is on the ground, in the trees, and on every rock surface you would touch. Researchers estimate that the island holds between 1 and 5 golden lancehead vipers per square meter in some areas. Their venom can cause kidney failure, brain hemorrhage, and tissue death around the bite. There is no permanent human population. There is no dock. There are no services of any kind. From the water, the island looks like a green hill rising from the Atlantic. Trees cover the slopes. Birds circle overhead. It could pass for any uninhabited island along the Brazilian coast, until you step ashore and realize why no one lives here. The forest floor moves. Branches hold coiled snakes at eye level. The air is warm, humid, and thick with the smell of guano and vegetation. Every surface you might grab for balance could be occupied. The golden lancehead evolved here in isolation, after rising sea levels cut the island off from the mainland roughly 11,000 years ago. With no ground-level prey, the snakes adapted to hunt birds, developing venom estimated to be 3 to 5 times more potent than their mainland relatives. Researchers who visit do so under military permit, wearing heavy boots and thick gloves, and they do not go alone. If you are bitten on this island, the nearest hospital is a boat ride away across open ocean. Antivenom must be specific to the species. Delay means tissue destruction spreads. There is no radio tower, no landing zone, and no emergency plan beyond getting back to the boat before the venom advances. This is not a place where rescue is difficult. It is a place where rescue was never part of the design. Most channels will not cover a place this restricted. If you want content that goes where others stop, subscribe to Explore Danger. Somewhere ahead on this list, a place kills not with venom or heat, but with invisible gas that replaces the air while you sleep. Los Caracoles Pass, Chile. Seen from above, Los Caracoles looks like a metal spring pressed into the Andes. This section of Chile's Route 60 climbs through more than 20 hairpin turns toward the Cristo Redentor Tunnel at 3,175 meters above sea level. It is one of the main road crossings between Chile and Argentina. That means the road is not a forgotten thrill route. It carries commercial freight, passenger buses, and daily international traffic through a mountain pass that changes character with every season. The pavement gives a false sense of safety on clear days. The turns are tight but manageable. The grades are steep but engineered. Then winter arrives. Snow packs the upper switchbacks. Rockfall tumbles across lanes without warning. Wind funnels through the curves and pushes vehicles sideways. Heavy trucks crawl upward in convoys that stretch for kilometers, while buses and smaller cars wait for passing space that barely exists. On the Chilean side, stretches run with no guardrails at all. This road matters because 2 nations depend on it. It links Santiago to Mendoza. It keeps freight, fuel, and food moving through one of South America's hardest mountain crossings. Drivers do it because trade does not pause for weather, and because the mountain does not care about fatigue. When something fails here, the damage spreads. A missed shift on a steep grade, an overheated brake on descent, one tire losing grip on ice, and the vehicle does not stop alone. The truck behind it, the bus behind that. The entire convoy becomes part of the problem. The pass has a stronger safety record than its appearance suggests, and that record exists because of the discipline it demands from every driver on every trip. If you have driven switchbacks that made your hands sweat, tell me the pass and the country. The comments section on Explore Danger is built for people who have actually been there. Lake Nyos, Cameroon. In 1986, Lake Nyos killed nearly 1,800 people and 3,500 livestock, without fire, without lava, and without a sound most victims ever understood. NASA confirmed that a massive cloud of carbon dioxide burst from the lake and raced downhill at more than 100 kilometers per hour. It suffocated entire villages in the dark. People collapsed where they stood. Families were found in their homes. Cattle lay dead in the fields by morning. The lake looks like a postcard. Calm green water sits inside a volcanic crater. Gentle slopes surround it. Small farms dot the hillside. Roughly 10,000 people still live in the wider area because volcanic soil is among the richest farmland on Earth. From the shore, nothing about Lake Nyos tells your body to run, but the danger sits below the surface. Carbon dioxide from magma roughly 80 kilometers underground seeps upward, dissolves into the deep water, and builds pressure over years. In 1986, that pressure released in what scientists call a limnic eruption. The lake itself became a weapon. The CO2 cloud, heavier than air, hugged the ground and flowed downhill into valleys where people slept. There was no smell strong enough to wake them, no visible cloud to dodge, no warning. Engineers installed degassing pipes in 2001 and added more in 2011. Fountains of water now shoot from the lake's surface, slowly releasing gas before it can build to lethal levels. But the system requires maintenance and monitoring, and the threat has not been eliminated, only managed. If you were alone near Nyos when the gas moved, there would be nothing to see, nothing to outrun, nothing to fight, just sudden heaviness in your chest, then confusion, then the ground rising to meet you. That number, 1,800 lives in a single night from a lake that looked safe, deserves more than a moment. A like here is not approval. It is acknowledgement that the earth keeps secrets that cost real people everything. North Yungas Road, Bolivia. For years, an estimated 200 to 300 people died here annually. That happened on a road less than 80 kilometers long. North Yungas Road leaves La Paz, rises to nearly 4,650 meters above sea level, then plunges toward the Yungas lowlands on a dirt track often barely 3 meters wide. In 1 year alone, the BBC reported 25 vehicles left the road and fell into the ravine. The Inter-American Development Bank once called it the most dangerous road in the world. Dust blinds you in the dry months. In wet season, waterfalls spill directly across the driving surface and turn packed dirt to grease. One side is raw rock wall. The other is a vertical drop of more than 600 meters in places, straight down toward the Coroico River. The road is so narrow that when two vehicles meet, one must reverse, sometimes for hundreds of meters, to find a point wide enough to pass. Drivers on the outer edge look directly into open space, while their tires grip inches of crumbling shoulder. This road was built in the 1930s by Paraguayan prisoners of war. It connected La Paz with the Amazon-facing lowlands, and for decades was the only route. Trucks, buses, traders, and families used it because there was no second option. Drivers poured beer for Pachamama before departure, chewed coca to fight exhaustion, and kept moving because stopping meant the cargo did not arrive, and the family did not eat. When disaster hits here, it does not stop at a skid. A bus slides. A truck loses brakes on the descent. A driver takes a blind curve too wide, and the road ends in open air. Crosses line the route because memory had to do the work that guardrails never did. Share this with one person who still thinks a dangerous road just means a few sharp turns. The next place also kills silently, but it was built by human hands, and the poison it left behind will last for centuries. Chernobyl Exclusion Zone, Ukraine. On April 26, 1986, Reactor 4 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant exploded and contaminated more than 150,000 square kilometers across Ukraine, Belarus, and Russia. 2 workers died immediately in the blast. Within 3 months, 28 firefighters and emergency responders died from acute radiation sickness. The city of Pripyat, population 49,360, was evacuated within 36 hours. In total, roughly 200,000 people were relocated from the surrounding region. They left behind homes, schools, photographs, and entire lives. Walk the exclusion zone today, and your senses will betray you. Trees sway in the breeze. Birds sing. Wolves, wild boar, and moose roam through abandoned apartment blocks and overgrown playgrounds. Pripyat looks like a city frozen mid-sentence. Dishes in kitchens, shoes in hallways. A Ferris wheel that never reopened. The scene can feel almost peaceful. That is precisely what makes radiation so disorienting. It leaves the world looking normal while rewriting your cells. Liquidators, the soldiers and civilians who cleaned up the disaster, built dams, waste storage, filtration systems, and the first concrete shelter over the destroyed reactor under conditions that shortened many of their lives. Their work is still the only reason the contamination did not spread further. Cesium-137 and strontium-90 remain active in the soil. Forest fires can lift contaminated particles back into the air. Damaged structures inside the zone continue to deteriorate. The IAEA confirms that short guided visits carry manageable exposure levels. But this is still a place where a wrong turn into a hotspot, a collapsed floor, or an extended stay without monitoring turns manageable into dangerous.
If you go alone and something happens, you may not know which hazard reached you first: the radiation, the structural collapse, or the isolation. Most channels treat Chernobyl as set dressing for drama. If you want the real weight behind the images, subscribe to Explore Danger. Whakaari/White Island, New Zealand. On December 9, 2019, 47 people stood inside the crater of Whakaari when it erupted. 22 were killed. Dozens more suffered severe burns.
The volcano sits 48 kilometers off New Zealand's North Island, the exposed peak of a submarine stratovolcano. A hydrothermal explosion sent superheated rock, ash, and toxic gas across the crater floor and launched an ash plume roughly 4 kilometers into the sky. The people inside had no time and almost no path to escape. That is what makes Whakaari a particular kind of horror. It can look quiet right up until the second it is not. Steam vents hiss softly. The crater floor looks barren, scarred, almost lunar. Tourists walked through the sulfur smell and warm ground, hearing only wind and gas venting from below. Then, the system shifted from pressure to violence in an instant. Tour operators brought visitors to the island because the volcano had become part spectacle, part adventure, part business. It was accessible, monitored, and famous. GeoNet, New Zealand's geological hazard monitoring system, had raised the volcanic alert level before the eruption. But a monitored volcano feels safer than it is. The USGS notes that hydrothermal explosions are especially dangerous because they can occur with little to no warning. The signals may be subtle, local, or simply too late to act on. When Whakaari erupts, there is no long evacuation window. Superheated steam and rock fragments hit the same ground where people stood moments earlier. Burns arrive instantly. Breathing becomes agony. Escape depends entirely on boats reaching the island and survivors reaching the shore. There is no shelter inside the crater. There is only distance. And distance requires time. The volcano does not give. If a place this monitored can still explode with people inside, what does that tell you about the places on this list with no monitoring at all? Leave your answer in the comments. Ahead, a place rejects outsiders not with eruptions, but with arrows. And the law says they have every right to. North Sentinel Island, India. North Sentinel Island is surrounded by a 5-kilometer exclusion zone enforced by the Indian government. The rule is absolute. No one goes ashore. The Sentinelese, estimated at roughly 50 to 200 people, depending on the source and census method, live in complete, intentional isolation. They have refused contact for thousands of years, and the historical record confirms when outsiders ignore that refusal. From the air, the island is a ring of white beach surrounding dense jungle. Coral reefs make the surrounding water treacherous for boats. There is no harbor, no clearing, no signal of welcome. In 1880, a British naval officer took several islanders by force. The adults fell ill and died. In 1974, a National Geographic crew approached and was met with a volley of arrows. In 2004, after the Indian Ocean tsunami, a helicopter sent to check on the island was fired upon. In 2006, 2 fishermen who drifted ashore while sleeping were killed. In 2018, American missionary John Allen Chow illegally reached the island and was killed on the beach. The danger is not only physical violence. Britannica notes that isolated populations like the Sentinelese may have little or no immunity to common illnesses such as influenza or measles. A single visitor carrying a cold could trigger an epidemic. The threat cuts in both directions. The visitor risks death by arrow, and the tribe risks annihilation by contact. This is the only place on this list where the correct human response is not courage. It is restraint. There is no port, no hotel, no rescue infrastructure, and no invitation. If curiosity beats judgment and your boat reaches that beach, there is no diplomatic process waiting. There is no second warning. The island has said no for centuries, and it means it. Put one word in the comments for North Sentinel: respect, fear, or both. Mount Nyiragongo, Democratic Republic of the Congo. Nyiragongo's lava can flow downhill at up to 60 kilometers per hour. For comparison, most lava flows around the world move slowly enough that a person can walk away from them. Nyiragongo's lava is unusually low in silica, which makes it fluid, almost like water compared to the thick paste of typical volcanic flows. That speed turns a distant eruption into a race that humans lose on foot. The mountain towers directly above Goma, a city of roughly 1 million people. During the 2002 eruption, lava flowed through the city center. Smithsonian records confirm that the eruption destroyed at least 13% of Goma, forced the evacuation of more than 300,000 people, and left over 40,000 homeless. Approximately 100 people died directly or from related causes. The most recent eruption in May 2021 sent lava toward Goma again and displaced hundreds of thousands more. Picture the scene. Night over Goma. Red glow on the horizon. Tremors vibrating through walls. Glass cracking. Then a street you walked that morning is split by a glowing river moving faster than traffic. The heat pushes ahead of the visible flow. The air burns your face before the rock arrives. This is not remote wilderness danger. This is urban danger. Lava in neighborhoods where children were sleeping hours earlier. People live in Goma because leaving is not simple. The city sits in a region shaped by conflict, poverty, and limited infrastructure. Scientists also watch Nyiragongo because of a second nightmare. Seismic activity or lava interaction with nearby Lake Kivu could release massive amounts of dissolved methane and carbon dioxide, potentially threatening the roughly 2 million people living along the lake's shores. When things go wrong here, the catastrophe is layered. Fire, gas, ground collapse, and panic all at once. After hearing what Goma endures, a like feels less like approval and more like respect for the people who live in the shadow of that mountain. The cold can kill just as completely as lava. The next place proves it, with temperatures that freeze exposed skin in under a minute. Oymyakon, Russia. On February 6, 1933, the temperature in Oymyakon dropped to minus 67.7 degrees Celsius. That is minus 89.9 degrees Fahrenheit. Guinness World Records recognizes this as the lowest temperature ever recorded in a permanently inhabited settlement outside Antarctica. Even the average January temperature sits at roughly minus 46 degrees Celsius. This is not cold weather. This is cold that rewrites the rules of daily survival. Everything changes at these temperatures. Breath crystallizes and falls. Metal burns exposed skin on contact. Vehicle engines must run continuously or they freeze solid. Rubber becomes brittle. Door seals bond shut. Eyelashes frost together between blinks. The sound environment shifts. The air carries noise differently, and the crunch of snow under boots becomes sharp, almost electric. The village sits in a valley in the Sakha Republic, and about 500 people live there year-round. That last detail matters most. This is not a research outpost. Families live here. Children attend school. Food must be supplied, buildings must be heated, and daily life must function inside an environment that punishes every lapse. The nearest significant city is Yakutsk, roughly 920 kilometers away along roads that themselves freeze into danger during winter. A stalled vehicle outside Oymyakon can become a death sentence in under an hour. Bare skin can suffer frostbite in moments. A failed heater shifts from annoyance to emergency before sunrise. And the cruelest part of extreme cold is what it does to the mind before the body. Confusion comes before panic. Clumsiness comes before pain. And by the time you realize how much trouble you are in, your hands may no longer work well enough to save yourself. If you have ever felt cold so deep it changed the way you thought, tell me the temperature you still remember. What follows is not cold. It is a furnace with road signs, and it sits inside the United States. Death Valley, United States. The highest reliably recorded air temperature on Earth, 134 degrees Fahrenheit, was measured at Furnace Creek in Death Valley on July 10, 1913. Ground surface temperature reached 201 degrees Fahrenheit in 1972. In a typical July, afternoon air temperatures exceed 120 degrees in the shade. Even after dark, the valley floor can hold at 95 degrees or higher. In 2024, Death Valley recorded its hottest meteorological summer on record, and park rangers responded to multiple life-threatening heat emergencies, including 2 fatalities where heat was a primary contributing factor. This place is dangerous specifically because Americans think they understand desert. They have seen it in movies. They have driven through it on interstates with the air conditioning running. Then, Death Valley rewrites the scale. The light looks clean. The roads are open. The valley appears easy from behind a windshield. Step outside for 20 minutes, and the heat climbs through your shoes, soaks through your clothes, and begins altering your judgment. Sweat evaporates so fast your body cannot cool itself. Shade loses meaning. Distance starts lying to you. Visitors come because it is one of the most famous landscapes in America. The dunes, the salt flats, the bragging rights. Rangers warn visitors to stay within a 10-minute walk of air-conditioned vehicles during peak heat. In 2024, a man needed rescue from sand dunes after losing his flip-flops and suffering second-degree burns on his feet from the ground surface alone. When help is needed here, it may be hours away. A broken car, lost water, or one impulsive short hike can turn into organ stress, thermal burns, or collapse faster than most people believe possible. Death Valley gives you air, roads, and a theoretical chance to retreat. The next place strips the air first, then dares you to keep climbing. Share this with someone who thinks extreme places are harmless as long as they stay inside the U.S. Mount Everest, Death Zone, Nepal, and Tibet. Above 8,000 meters, the oxygen available in each breath drops to roughly 1/3 of what it is at sea level. Britannica defines this altitude as the death zone, the elevation above which the human body cannot sustain itself no matter how long it rests. Everest stands 8,849 meters high. By 2023, more than 300 people had died on its slopes. Winds above the summit ridge can exceed 160 kilometers per hour. The mountain's summit season is measured in days, not weeks. And even those days carry lethal risk. Every step above 8,000 meters costs something your body cannot replace fast enough. Your chest heaves for air that barely feeds your blood. Frostbite waits on any exposed skin. Thought slows. Decisions that would take a second at sea level take minutes at altitude. And those minutes carry consequences. The summit ridge is not just steep and cold. It is a place where the human body begins shutting down while the legs are still moving. Climbers have sat down to rest and never stood up. Sherpa teams make summit attempts possible. They fix ropes, carry supplemental oxygen, and manage logistics under conditions that would end most expeditions before base camp. Climbers spend months acclimatizing and fortunes preparing. Everest is a dream, a status symbol, and for the Sherpa, a job that pays better than almost any alternative, at a cost measured in lives. When the mountain turns, rescue becomes nearly impossible. Helicopters have limited function above 8,000 meters. Bodies remain on the route because retrieving them can kill the living. A sudden storm, empty oxygen bottle, traffic jam on the Hillary Step, or a single fall can reduce an elite mountaineer to minutes. And the mountain keeps every body it takes as proof. Before the final place, subscribe if you want the next episode to push even deeper into the world's most impossible environments. The last place is so deep that Everest could sink into it, and the summit would still sit more than a mile beneath the surface of the ocean. Mariana Trench, Pacific Ocean. The deepest confirmed point on Earth lies approximately 10,935 meters below the surface of the Pacific Ocean. NOAA states that if Mount Everest were dropped into the Challenger Deep section of the Mariana Trench, the summit would still be submerged by more than 2,000 meters of water. There is no hiking version of this place, no casual visit. No unprotected human body could survive there for a single second. The water pressure at full depth exceeds 1,000 atmospheres, roughly 8 tons pressing on every square inch of surface. Imagine the descent. Sunlight vanishes within the first 200 meters. Color drains away. By 1,000 meters, the ocean is absolute black. Temperature drops toward freezing. The only sounds are mechanical. The hum of the submersible, the creak of the hull adjusting to pressure. Every meter deeper is a meter farther from breathable air, from warmth, from any environment your body was designed to survive. Your senses, built for land and light, become useless. Only a handful of crewed missions have ever reached the bottom. Jacques Piccard and Don Walsh made the first descent in 1960 in the bathyscaphe Trieste. James Cameron followed in 2012. Victor Vescovo reached Challenger Deep in 2019. Scientists go because the trench holds answers about the origins of life, geology, and biology under extreme conditions. But even these specialized vehicles represent the thinnest margin of engineering between survival and immediate implosion. If a seal fails at that depth, there is no repairing it. No quick ascent. No stepping outside. No rescue vessel capable of reaching you before physics finishes the job. Pressure owns the timeline. Distance owns everything else. The Mariana Trench is not simply dangerous because it is deep. It is dangerous because it removes every single condition that makes human survival possible: air, light, temperature, pressure, and rescue, all at once. Down here, alone is just another word for gone. Every place in this script exists right now. The roads carry traffic this morning. The volcanoes hold pressure tonight. The trench sits in silence at this exact moment, 11 kilometers below waves that sailors cross without knowing what is beneath them. None of this was assembled to entertain. It was assembled because millions of people around the world live with, work in, and travel through conditions that most of us will never face, and their reality deserves to be understood, not just watched. If one entry changed how you think about a place, or about the people who navigate it daily, share this video with someone who needs that same shift in perspective. That is what Explore Danger exists to do.